What's up, everybody? It's your girl, the Gransberry, and it's week 7 of Snob Chronicles. I got my boy D Jones with me tonight.
What's
You know,
poppin'?
we was silent on week 6, but I want to open up the show with a subtle brag. There were two people in the Pick'em League who correctly picked all 14 games. So shout out to Watt. I know who that is, but since they using their name and they haven't come forward, we're gonna keep their business. And if you want to know who it is, then you will join our league. I did have some late requests, and before I get to that, the other person would be me. And I even had somebody try to challenge me on that and say, prove it.
Mhm.
So two things about that, which obviously D Jones. One, I don't make up things. That's not in my nature. Like, I'm not looking for clout. And then two, I don't have to prove myself to you. Who are you? If you wanted to know if I got all 14 games, you should be in my league, because I guarantee you the people in the league know I picked all 14 games correctly.
Play.
So
I was close, man. I was close,
You,
but no
you
12.
close. We had 13s in there. So it was quite a few people that were close. So
I was 12. I had 12. I had 12. I took one chance and then I made one last minute. Never do, change up your pick in the last minute, but
something you done told me many a times, but here we
and
are 5 years later and you still doing it.
I don't still doing it. I did it. I don't normally do it.
Well, I guess I'm saying as long as you've been giving that advice.
Yeah, and then I did. I didn't follow my own advice this time. Yeah, it's crazy.
So, fun fact for the viewers, Derek used to play in this Pick'em League, and it was a you can only pick each team once, right?
Yeah,
So it's like
suicide league. Yeah,
suicide. Some people call it survival.
survival.
And
Yeah, I've
yeah,
seen both of them. My bad.
and I was pretty good with being an assist in that, I would say. Sometimes, from those few little games. And sometimes I have a weird technique, but I tell you, the hardest thing about this week is was picking the games and then hoping that the teams could live up to the way you picked, right? And when I say that, meaning this Monday night game was one that, on paper, everybody thought they had a pick that would work for them. And then as you see the game, you like, really? Like you on the edge of your seat trying to figure out how this game is going to play out. Things you just can't control, right? Because obviously when you picking, you're not saying, well, what's the wind in New York,
Yeah,
right?
you don't know. You don't know. You don't know what's gonna happen.
No, you don't know what's gonna happen. And you
But
know,
let's be clear though. So I had this conversation with Bianca, my oldest daughter. So she's been doing pick'ems this season. Holla at your boy, that boy D Jones on TikTok and Instagram to see those videos. But she's been doing her weekly pick'ems and she takes it really, really serious. She's not, and her T. She don't know football like that. But
right.
I'm like, you really just guessing. I say we both just guessing. I say we have a 50-50 chance, right? We have a 50-50 chance of getting it right. That's what makes this game. I explained to her, that's why I love this game. Because yeah, we can look at this and say this team should, or I think this team is the better team, but they still gotta lace them up on Sunday and then go play. And then you got the other elements, like you say, the weather, all that stuff that kick in. So it's like, we really just guessing. So we taking an educated guess because me and you know the game a little bit more than say she does. But bottom line, we all got a 50-50 chance of winning.
We all have a
Or
50
picking
50
right.
chance. And it's
Mhm.
funny because I guess I wouldn't necessarily even use, you could, the word educated, but I wouldn't. I probably
Well,
would, I
we
would
know more
lean
about the game.
more into informed, right? Because I'm probably going to
Fair.
put a little bit more energy
Fair.
into seeing who's starting, or even check the weather that day of the games, right? Because if it's a run first team, that they're playing somewhere that the weather's bad, I think they got an advantage that they might not have had when you would have picked, let's say, Friday night. So I would just say I'm more informed, but you're right. It's
That's
all
fair.
50, and something I've seen before in leagues, somebody who knows nothing about the game can pick a whole fantasy team and win half their games this during the season just on randomness. So, but for
My
those
wife
of us,
picked the whole
but
fantasy
there's
team based on
some
how
of us
the
who are
guys look.
serious. I'm sorry.
My wife could pick the whole fantasy team based on how the guys look, and she looked at like the ranking sheets or whatever, but she won. She won the
Shout
whole
out to
league.
her. And that's the thing, right? That's the beauty of it. But the other marketing genius of it is this was created so people would watch the games. Like that was the
Exactly.
sole purpose because you can just watch in the app and see if you won. Same with fantasy. You can just watch your fantasy points, but
Correct.
sometimes you literally trying to watch this game to see if they're gonna get this catch, if they're gonna get this number of yards, are they gonna get this touchdown, are they gonna get this sack? So it's just so many different ways to enjoy it that that's why I say, football is one of the best realities. So
Best
um
reality shows, yeah, for sure.
yeah. So shout out to Mr. King. I see you coming in strong, saying you 4-1 in your league. That's impressive. That's impressive. It's as I say, it's hard to get a win. And this is actually a down year for quarterback play overall, right? So the quarterbacks are not totally winning the leagues. Depend on your point league, what type of point league you're in too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, exactly. If you're in
but
PPR, yeah.
right. So I wouldn't say that they're not helping you win, but maybe the point differential. But
I think
you know,
the yardage is down, but they still even when you look at the
and number
Texans,
of touchdowns
yeah,
is down.
yeah,
So there's a lot of what we say 50-50 ball, all the
yeah.
ball, a lot of play in between. Um, but not necessarily getting to the red zone. There's a ton of play going on right now between, I would say, obviously the 30-yard line and the 20 if there's a score, but if not, somewhere in there, but they're not reaching the red zone. But I was
Mhm.
pretty geeked about it because, like I said, it's hard to commit to 14 games, didn't change any picks, and get them all right. There have been weeks I've done another week with 13, and there have been weeks where I changed my picks or I didn't pay attention. Like I knew they were changing quarterbacks and just got sidetracked. So like I say, stay on top of your picks. But I need to talk about, some things I saw and liked from week 6 and some things that kind of had me questioning what is going on. But I'd like to in general start with teams of the week. And overall, there were upsets again in
Mhm.
college football. And I just want to give a shout out to our Dirty South neighbors. LSU had them a
Yeah.
fantastic homecoming with, you know, all of the old school Louisiana culture and that beautiful fine they're going to pay for storming the field to Ole Miss. So the Ole Miss goes home with a loss and they'll get a check in the next week or so for $250,000. So I think all of
Is that who gets the fine? I didn't know he went to the other
the
school. That's
fine
crazy.
goes to the opposing university.
That's wild
And
bananas.
yeah, yeah, it really is. But you know what? Not to encourage it, but I don't know how you take that moment. Me personally, I've experienced removing the goalposts from the football field. We didn't have a home game when we broke our losing streak at Prairie View A&M University against Langston. We got a win, and we literally left our dorm rooms. And this is aging myself a little bit, but it wasn't all of this streaming.
Mhm.
So we
In
finding
the
out
90s.
yeah, it's the 90s, and we like running over to the field. We pull up the goal post and we take it to the president's house and we put it in his yard. And he comes outside and he has a bullhorn and he gives us, the old like great job. Now take that shit
Like,
back to the
back
field. Excuse my language, but he was like, take it back, put it back, so it didn't go in the river, or for us Texas folks, a bayou, it went back to the school.
Yeah.
Our
Well, it
stadium is
stayed
on
on
the
campus. It just
Saginaw
went
River.
back to the
I mean, it
it
went
never
back to
left
the
campus.
field. So yes, of course, Mr. King, that was in 1998. It was an amazing moment. Um, you just had to be there. And so for me, when I see people comment and interact about, I mean, why are they storming the field? They act like they just won a championship. They act like when you the danger of storming the field is still there. The risk of what could happen when you storm the field is still there. But the enjoyment and the excitement, you can't help it. And I'm telling you, all these big schools have some alumni on hold right now, prepared to pay that fine for
Sure.
their institution. I guarantee you, Vandy had no problem collecting that fine help in donations to pay for beating Alabama. And it is what it is. And so for me, I wish there was a way they could come up with just having an organized field party, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And just say, like, look, if
Just
you
wait.
win, we gonna have these four
Yeah.
entrances open, and we would like for y'all to come down orderly and gather.
Yeah.
And if they know, you don't, because if you look now at the videos, it's not aggressive storming. They're walking down the steps. It's just
Yeah.
the security, for the most part, can't stop it.
Yeah.
So
I like how Dion put it. It's like, I think he said, I wish they wouldn't do that, but I love that for them. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I know why they do it, so I appreciate it, but it's like, man, that's so dangerous,
and let us
And
and also allow them to get the team off the field,
yeah, that's what I would like for them
because
to do.
that's
Let the
the
team
other
lead.
thing you're not thinking about. These guys have just played 3 hours, of football, aggressive punching, pushing, pulling, tackling, and they tired, right? And they would like to get to the locker room in one piece. And so I just wish they could figure out a way. I don't know what the balance is, because raising the fine for the institutions that are going to do it, they're going to pay the fine. It's not a negative to them. If you're telling me already next week somebody's going to pay a fine for a game at one of the top 10 schools, they're going to pay it.
Yeah.
Gonzalez says, now it's like rushing the stage at a concert, adrenaline, but I get your point of safety. I would say the difference with rushing the stage at a concert, though, you're smushing all the people at the front. They have nowhere to go, and people are
Yeah.
trying to push up and lift over them to get onto a stage. 100 yards of space on a football field, it's the accommodation of people is there. The issue is whether or not you're safely getting out of the stands. And that's why I made the comment about, if you look now, they're walking, right? They're gracefully going down the steps. They're not as aggressive, because I think they are subconsciously thinking about that when they're going down the field. The danger still is pulling the goal post up, because somebody get hit in the head,
Yeah, you can get hurt.
but
Well, you
I'm
can get
not
hurt
going.
either way. Right.
Right. But I'm not gonna be auntie and mama tonight. I'm just gonna say, I'm glad y'all had a good time. Stay safe, be safe about it. But again, I love witnessing the upsets, but after a while, I don't think it's gonna be too much excitement about beating Ole Miss. They done been beat twice uh in big
Well, I
games.
think the
But that was a
thing,
big
well, I think
game.
the
It was
thing,
homecoming, overtime, and a
and
beautiful play.
they were ranked. They still were ranked, and LSU is not. So I mean, that's a big upset for them. So yeah, I've been enjoying this college season. What about you? I mean, it's like every week there's even week 6. We didn't get to talk about it last week, but I'm looking at the lineup and I'm like, I don't really see any games I really just want to watch this week. And then there was like upset after upset. I'm like, oh, this game is tight. Oh, let's look. And it's like, man, every week is something going on. And so it's like, this week we had number 2 versus number 3, Oregon and Ohio State. That didn't disappoint.
And let's stop right there.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so a big controversy was resolved today.
Yeah,
Oregon pretty much won the
I was gonna
game
bring that one
on
up. Yeah,
right on what I would call the Belichick of a college move. Belichick was really good at knowing the intricate rules that could lead to you getting a flag that was in the benefit of his team. He knew how to draw you to have 12 men on the field on defense based on how he would do his substitutions. And he was just known for these little tricks, right? And the perfect time to call timeout, all these strategies. And so if you didn't catch the game this past weekend, what really sealed the game for Oregon was forcing themselves to have 12 men on the field intentionally so that they knew they would get the flag and run the clock time
and
off
run
the
clock.
clock. And to the point of it would have to make the other side think of a better strategy, a smarter play to put themselves in a position to kick a field goal. And I think they didn't have time to regroup on a plane.
Well, the whole thing was really just to use the time because it
Correct.
didn't end the game. It was really just to use the time. So it was
It
done so
ended the game.
smoothly. No,
Well,
because they still had another play. They still
that's
had, I think,
true. They
they
had
still had
another
plays
play.
after that.
They had another play, but they needed two.
I think they still got 2 plays after that. But no, they could have. Let me put it this way.
Exactly.
They could have had more plays to where that wouldn't have, I ain't gonna say ended the game,
Right, but that's a lot
but
of ifs. I think
but
initially
well,
before the 12 men, my only
if
point was they knew there was room already for at least two plays.
it was definitely a good use of a non rule, of a legal play and strategy wise to take time off the clock. The quarterback still could have got rid of the ball quicker, made a quick play that ended up ultimately ending the game, taking all of the time off the clock. But it was definitely very very smart, if you will, to do that just because a penalty is still going to take time off the clock. You don't get that time back.
Correct. But if
So
you know
it's super
exactly how
smart.
much time you need, you pretty much eliminated a play because a play will be
Yeah,
6 to 8 seconds for the most part,
yeah, yeah.
right?
I
So
mean,
you
it's
cut into that to where at that point, you don't even get to run the play you was running. You got to run it quickly or you got to throw it out of bounds. And so that was my point about they didn't mentally be able to reset to have a new game plan. They had a game plan based on what they already knew the clock was. He already had that next play. It was taken off when he couldn't make the play that he wanted, and then he also had no time. So I'm not really here on he slid and time ran out. We're not
what
going there. But
I guess
what
my thing is I don't think they was even thinking of it. I think they just saw it as another penalty. You know what I'm saying? Because
who
I
is
don't think that
they?
they saw OSU. I don't think Ohio State, that is, because everyone. I don't think, or anybody even watching that game. You watching that game, you thinking Oregon just made a
Of course,
mistake.
that's my
You
whole
thinking they
point
just made a
though.
mistake. But I'm saying you thinking they just made a mistake and we just gained 5 yards or whatever, but not thinking
That's
that he did
I
this on purpose.
I
Yeah.
I agree. That's my point
Mhm.
though. That's what I'm saying. They had no time to even process to rethink what to do because to them it was just a normal penalty. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is I don't think it's a time to process type deal. It's the play is something that happens all the time. So it's just another, oh, they messed up. We got 5 yards. What's the next play? I don't think it's time to process. I don't think they even thinking that they did this on purpose to take time off the clock.
We know they
I
wasn't
think that,
thinking they did it on purpose. That's why I'm
right.
saying it's genius. I'm saying I guarantee you they had a plan before that on what to do to get in position to kick a field goal. When you in those
And I don't think it
situations,
changes. Because if you execute your play, there, then it didn't matter.
it changes in the fact that if you execute your play, you don't have the back set of seconds left. That's a lot of time they
No,
lost.
Think about it. If you execute your play, then you decline the penalty and you still keep moving. So the genius of the play is you got 12 people on the field to help defend the play. But if they let's say they gain 10 yards, then that 5 yard penalty means nothing, and we keep moving to the next play. It doesn't change the cadence or it doesn't change the schedule to OSU.
Yes.
It ends up being brilliant because if you did it on purpose and it worked out in your favor, then it's like, oh my God, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But and it's like even our partner B said, I think when he admitted in the press conference, like they had worked on it, I think that's what made them react on it today. If he hadn't have said that, then it would have still went down like they just had 12 people on the field. I don't think the NCAA would have addressed it so fast, so quickly. I think they would have addressed it probably in the off season, or if somebody else did it. But if he didn't admit it,
that's part two. Yeah. But I'm not getting to part two. What I still believe is, even if you get your first down, the fact that they did it, you still lost that time. You still lost that time with or without the penalty.
The play gonna be the play. If you didn't have the penalty, you still gonna use the time to get 10 yards. That doesn't change the schedule.
That changes your next play though, because you might not be able to do that. So you may have to rethink what you're doing.
Okay.
If you go from
I don't think it changes. I don't think. When I say I don't think it changes, it doesn't change your strategy as a coach. And we spend a lot of time on teams of the week with this. I don't think it changes your strategy. I don't think it changes your strategy as a coach. It's no different if a coach has a play called and the play doesn't work. He should already be thinking 2-3 play calls ahead of time. So,
and that's what I said to the beginning. I said they probably.
And I don't think it changes
2 play calls. They won.
Right. And so what I'm saying is, I don't think that changes just if he hadn't did it on purpose. If they had a man running off the field. And they did like an Aaron Rodgers move. Let's try to catch him and get this penalty, and then we got a free play. That still doesn't change that the offensive coordinator is thinking, okay, we just gained 5 yards instead of 10 yards. It doesn't change that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't change.
You might take an easier route. I mean, it's no different than if you get a false start and you're on third down and you was 3-3.
So if they didn't have 12 men on the field and they got a 5-yard gain, it's still a 5-yard gain. And you still took the same amount of time off the clock. If you ran the play, you still took the same amount of time off the clock. Maybe. Nothing changes there. Nothing. Maybe. You still have to call the next play. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't change there. The only thing that changes is you did it on purpose. You admitting as a coach that you did this on purpose means that I defended this play with 12 people on purpose, and it went into my favor. You know what I mean? And I agree with Mr. King. I don't think it would have changed this fast if he hadn't admitted that they worked on this and it was done on purpose. If it looked like it was just a regular 12 man on the field, my bad, we took time off the clock, and you said that, if he would have been like, we didn't even think about that, but it worked.
He's sitting up in practice thinking of a way at the end of the game.
Diabolical.
It's diabolical.
Crazy.
They would say. Now, I thank you for letting me have my moment on Team of the Week with that, because I found it very intriguing, and I just think it could have went so many different ways. Yeah. I'm sure the quarterback will get over it and move on. They got to move on to the next game, and he'll take it in stride. But we still got to give a shout out to our team in Houston. They finally got a win in Foxborough. And talking about this game, we're not going to talk about it much, but we have to highlight it because Will Anderson Jr. got defensive AFC player of the week with his 3 sacks. He had a couple of tackles for loss. He helped turn in some tip balls. I mean, it was a great day. But one of the things that we in our chat were talking about before this game was, there's teams that when you match up on paper and you look at them, you should dominate them going in, right? And this was one of those games we talked about where it should look similar to, as quote unquote, a good dominating game that we've normally had in the past for JJ Watt when we play an AFC South team. And I was looking for that. That's the kind of win I wanted. Right. I didn't want a win on paper. I know all you need is one more point, but I felt like they needed this type of win to dominate because, one, you need that going into week 7, even though I know you reset for every game. But 2, let's use Coach Pat's words. you need some feel good medicine. And after the stressful win with with the field goal kick, which was amazing too, but just a lot on the mind from week 5, you needed to go in and just dominate a game, you know, and they answered the call to that. And I appreciate that on all levels. It was definitely a great feeling for you to see your team thrive like that. And I would say I still remember the first win on the road against the Colts. You know, there's little moments that you just, you click and think about them. And that one was one for me because, that field goal win week before last was just so exhausting and
It was a lot.
emotional.
It was a
And
lot.
I still feel like I'm going through it again. And I just can't it's hard. These extremely close games down to the last snap. Woo! I want to storm the field.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
with you.
so
I'm right there with you.
okay. Well, we're gonna move quickly to the teams for the
For the
week.
week.
For the week. And shout out to Gonzalez on his comments. Ooh wee. So he's talking in our comments tonight about drop balls, and he can't wait to see this Jet Packers reunion, as he calls it, the mini Packers on the East Coast.
They not.
Uh,
That's not what they not. They not that. Let's not
oh,
even go
oh, guys, if you're watching and
there.
you didn't
Let's not
know,
even go there.
don't forget D
That's not what
Jones
they are.
is a Packers fan. But we
That's not what
already
they
so
are.
so wait, are you team for the week? Do I need to talk about you? So who you rolling with?
Nah, we ain't gotta talk about me. Let's talk
Oh,
about
okay. Well, I need to make sure it's clear what's on your hat is who you cheering for this week. And you better keep
man, it's
all that other stuff to yourself. So just disclaimer, you don't be in none of our group chats telling us about any play. Because you team for the week, we're gonna start with D Jones. D Jones sent a picture of what Green Bay is wearing
man, they
uniform
gonna be
wise.
icy. They gonna be icy this
He
weekend, boy.
sent that to a Texans fan group. Now, what kind of person does that?
You want the group? It's just you. I just did that just to you.
That's an entanglement because
That
I'm
was just to
confused
you.
about who I'm cheering for. Don't
Man, you
send
know what I'm
that to
saying?
me. I
They
don't
gonna be.
want it.
I
I
just say
don't
one
want it.
coming. They just icy this weekend with the all white with that white helmet. They gonna be
Okay,
clean.
we're gonna stay with teams for
It's
the week.
hometown all day though. It's
It's
hometown first.
teams for the week, and so uh,
Hey
so
man, let's talk about your boy. Let's talk about your boy. Let's bring your boy back in here. Now he came through with his helicopter in the middle of practice. Now your boy on the radio trying to fire folk for asking them questions. What you hear it? I know you heard it. You sent it to me. So go on give him some love right here in this segment. Go on give him
that's
some love.
team. That's team for the week. I mean, it's one thing to have authority. It's another thing to throw authority around to insult people who are literally doing their job. It's
Come
it's
on.
it's it's I don't know how you even ratify that and basically let you know that I'll get somebody else to do it my way. And that's fine, but I don't think that was the place for that conversation. If you have an intended goal, because we all know that most of the shows that are ran by the team are for the benefit of the team and how they want it to go, right? Like there's an undertone there. But if that's the case, maybe that should be straight off the air. Like, because in the end, no one's going to really say, like, why did the host ask a tough question? Right? But we
Yeah.
all kind of felt for the hosts when they literally were asking the questions that we know the fans are asking. But, self reflection is hard, even when you're wealthy. And the constant reminder of that. And so this really isn't about the team because the team has severe injuries. Um, and even when we've talked about matchups, we've talked about games they played. It's very clear if we look at the schedule and we say, "Oh, this team has a dominant run game." Oh, it's an L. We start there. right? It has to be a lights out game to be competitive. I mean, and one of the hardest to win was going to be the Lions and the Ravens game. So I don't even think that there was any surprise that they wouldn't win. And with
Mm,
the amount of injuries and being realistic, the personnel that was already in place, you don't have anything to stop it,
nah,
you know? And I think it became a point where it
embarrassment.
was a little
It was embarrassing.
insulting because when you start putting linemen in plays intentionally, not even
Over
for
and
the
over,
point of being competitive,
over and over.
over and over, like we aiming for a lineman to score, it does hurt.
It
It
does.
hurts your
Yeah.
ego no matter how much money in your bank account.
It was
But what
embarrassing, and on your birthday, messed up birthday party. All right, so the next one, I'm a kind of combine two cats.
okay.
One from last week, since we didn't get to talk to him, talk about him. We need him to come to the front um, for their podium work. So the head coach for the Panthers, Dave Canales. If you didn't see it last week, they were game was over. They was losing. They took they put Bryce in, took Andy Dalton out, and in the press conference, he basically set it up. I'm gonna paraphrase because I don't have the word by word. Basically said that he put him in because he was basically protecting Andy. They had some injuries on the offensive line, but then tried to hide it and say he wanted Bryce to get some reps under center, but also talked about how the line was hurt and he wanted to make sure Andy was okay. So you put him in with the hurt line to protect Andy, not necessarily to get him reps. Which one was it? And then we got our boy AR with the Jets that basically, threw Mike Williams under the bus, saying that Mike ran the wrong route, which caused the interception. That basically hurt their game. We putting them in the team for the week, so you can kind of speak on they work at the podium as far as their being, I guess, a good teammate, if you will, even with the head coach.
So we've seen this before though, right?
For
When
sure.
in Green Bay, when he had the younger receivers, he said what he had to say. So I don't think I was surprised by
Not surprised.
anything.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think I was surprised by anything he said or did. I think what I'm surprised about is how the organization is being ran. And coming from an organization who has did an amazing 180 so fast that it's fascinating, right? You went from a year of salesmen trying to just get people to come to one game to you back to a list, a wait list for people to get tickets. And so, but that's self-awareness, right? And to have self-awareness, you first need accountability. And I don't know who's holding Aaron accountable for anything, right?
Yeah.
And that's separate from the fact of Devontae wanting out of the Raiders and being traded,
Yeah.
because that's a different organization, their own decision making, and their own path for their team. But when you need accountability, that ain't the way to get it. And as a leader of your team, forget just a teammate, you're also a leader. You are the leader. You are the one everyone looks for post game. You are the one who does the press conferences every Tuesday. So your continuity in what you say flows down. They're going to ask every player about all the quarterback about all his offensive weapons all the time. So they're going to ask you about the weapons, and they're going to ask you about the plays. You know how to talk to the media. So at this point, you're at a point now where you just will say and do whatever. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
know how that's healthy. And if it's just about getting back with your frat boys and you was just trying to activate your old chapter in New York, that's what it seems to be. And even before they announced today that they're reserving Williams for a possible trade, I said in the group chat, I said, oh, this gonna turn into Williams being the third option or down the chart, because he just gonna give to what's normal for him. It doesn't even come down to you. I don't care who the OC is. I don't care who it is, because the football IQ of Rodgers and Adams, they don't even look. He gonna And so if there's no accountability, I don't know how you improve. And then again, I look at the front office and the structure when you go over to the Panthers. Well, there's been no accountability. Who's holding ownership or GMs or coaches accountable when they start changing quarterbacks? Like, and without logic, right? I mean, people get caught up in the details, the stat lines and the wins and losses. But if you're watching games on Sunday and you're looking the and you're looking at the trenches, you know if there's good O lines and D lines on these teams, and you know that affects quarterback play. And if don't nobody else know, the Texans know. We know what it looks like to have decent or good quarterbacks behind horrible lines. And so with that, there comes accountability. There comes accountability. So that's why I don't care what he say. That's why Luck ain't playing. He was like, y'all just want me to play to feel safe. But should these people knocking me around and kicking my butt and wearing my body down 3 years
What's
later?
that piece?
And he's like, you can bring your money back. You know, they let him keep it, but he was ready to cut a check. So
Yeah.
back to Aaron, if there's no accountability, that's what you're gonna get. That's what you're gonna get. And I don't even think you have unity in a locker room where somebody can say those things on the podium. Is he gonna say that this week about Adams? If he get a
absolutely pick? Not. He would never.
Okay.
He would never. He would never. But you know, that's one of those. He know he can say it, who he can say it about, and when he can say it. You know what I'm saying? But nah, he would never. He wouldn't say it about Lazard, who drops balls, who been dropping balls since Green Bay. So,
and this is very true, Polo Bear. That's very true because I was at that game, and you're right. Because when ownership say what they told you to do, and you do the opposite, you out. And that's why I'm saying I'm not figuring it out. Did they skip all the front office and it's just Aaron do whatever Aaron want to do because Aaron took less money? I don't know. But I just hope it's still dysfunctional on Halloween and I'm good with it. After that, I can care less.
Please, business trip. So let's get into the main course. Let's get a 3-piece and a pepper in here. So what you looking forward to this week? I know for sure we got to be looking at the Texans and the Packers. We already kind of touched that. You know I stand on it. But what you looking for on this one?
I'm actually looking forward to seeing how we look as a unit against competitive teams. Our first knock up against competitive playoff teams. And our first knock on the door with that was the Vikings. We didn't have a good showing for whatever reason. Of course, we didn't have our run game, so we've lost Edwards, but we've picked up Autry. We got some core pieces. We can't say we don't have a run game.
Kurt Heinrich coming back too.
I'm sorry.
And Kurt Heinrich coming off for injury reserve. He'd be back on the D-line.
And I'm not sure. I thought we had somebody in. I'm not sure in concussion protocol on the linebackers.
Tua. Okay. Right now, you got both your starting linebackers didn't practice today. Tua didn't practice, and Ashiz didn't practice.
But he's not in protocol. He's
not in protocol. I think it's a knee with Ashiz, and Tua is in concussion protocol.
Yeah. So I'm looking to see how we look, and we still down. We got 3 more games to go on our rookie CB. So I'm looking to see how we play. With this safety CB, our secondary. I'm looking for some things on the secondary. I know Murray got him a pick this past week, and I'm just hoping he's not picked on this weekend. So that's gonna be my honest take on that. Another week of the
Miko got to change. Miko got it. I'm thinking they got to change how they play. And the only reason why I say that is because, and we've had this conversation, but I don't know if everybody really realized these teams are really mirrors of each other when you really break it down. You have a good young quarterback and the Texans. You got a good young quarterback. Green Bay brought in Jacobs. Texans brought in Joe Mixon. Both solid running backs that came in from other teams. Then you have 3 I'm saying young, but Diggs ain't young, but you got three solid receivers that you really can go to. The Green Bay receivers are young. When you look at Diggs is more of your route runner. Romeo Dobbs is their route runner. When we had Nico, I'm just saying going in. If we had Nico is your take the top off kind of guy. They had Christian Washington take your top off kind of guy. We got Tank Dell, which is our slot guy, and then they have Jalen Reed, which is their slot guy who can get the ball and get dynamic. So I think the thing that I'm gonna be looking for as far as from the Texas side is to see how they play Jalen Reed, how they play that slot guy. Because if you try to put Murray on that slot guy, it's not gonna be a good day. It's just not gonna be a good day. That's one of Love's favorite targets, and he cannot keep up with him. It's just I don't see anything that says that he's gonna keep up with him. So that's gonna be very important. And then on the defensive side, you already touched it. It's the linebackers. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how this all shakes down. I think it's going to be probably one of the games of the week. But you gonna pick one? You picking, or you gonna leave it? Leave the pick until put it in the app.
I'm picking. I'm going for it. I know we're on opposite ends. I'm actually gonna go for the Texans on this one. I think they did what they needed to do on the road in New England. It's a good way to get back on the road. They in rhythm with the travel. I don't think, winter's coming. I remember last time we were there, we brought the winter. It was the first day of snow, literally.
December 4th.
Yes. So I think they're gonna stand up to it. And I don't know if the word is he has to change the play, but I definitely think they're not gonna. I'm just changing the words, but still saying the same thing. I definitely think they're gonna see on film what they need to do. Even more so after people who may not have seen this, the receiver was mic'd up for the Patriots, and he told the sideline, "I got him. If I'm matched up with him, I'm heading there. I'm heading to the end zone." He called it. So I don't think that you can do that. No, he's on IR.
No. They didn't put him on IR, but they expect him to be out a couple of weeks.
They didn't want to make it 4 games, but he's not coming back this week.
No, he did not practice today either.
If I'm the Texans, I'm holding him for only the Thursday night game because I wouldn't put him in a back-to-back short week game playing anyway. Because otherwise, you could have just put him on IR. If you're not going to play him the Jets game, you could have went with IR, but I think they might didn't, because then you could put them in that 4th game because it would be a good break because of the Thursday night.
If they put him on IR, it's a minimum of 4 games. So.
Right. But he's
not expected back this week. No.
But in theory, that's the same amount of time, regardless, for us in this span, because we have our Thursday night game. So it actually helps you with being able to get him back, because at this point, if you don't play Thursday night, he's out 3 games already in a 10-day span. So we don't get him back yet. No.
Yeah. I'm rolling with the home team, but I'm picking Green Bay to win it. But
then you ain't rolling. And so
no. I pick the pick ain't got nothing to do with my loyalty. I pick a lot of people. We done picked against the Texans and we still root for them. So
I'll get back with you late on that. But Coach, Gonzalez said that he looking forward to Dallas having a bye week, where at least you can't lose this week. So
that's what you can't do.
You got to take the positives there. He an all Texas team, and somebody tried to have that conversation with me. I ain't doing that. Y'all can do that all day you want, whatever you want. I ain't doing that. It's one pro team I'm cheering for in Texas. That's it. You can like my quarterback. I respect your quarterback, but I ain't cheering for y'all. Yeah. But I'm not gonna spend a lot of time trying to take you down either. That's not my goal either. So I'm just gonna keep it straight up, and I'll see y'all in November. And then in November, I ain't with you at all on no kind of level. But Lions and Vikings, I'm looking forward. The Lions had an amazing game.
Division game. You got
the division game.
Vikings. I think the Lions are.
I think the Lions got it. I think the Lions are just clicking on all cylinders. I know they lost their top guy on defense. whoo, that's a big hole for them. And I know they got the jet on the Vikings. I think what I'm still leaning on, because I haven't seen a weakness in it yet. If you keep stuffing that ball down the throat of the opposing team, you wear the defense out and you give your offense a chance to figure it out, whatever way they need to get points on the board. And I think that's the strongest suit for the Lions at this point. I know they had Hutchinson. He was like X factor to me, right? He was like great, but he added another threshold for them to win. But if you're stuffing that ball down their throat, I just don't see an opportunity to let up. Because when Montgomery come off, G is right back in there. I mean, it reminds me of the Ben Tate and Aaron Foster days. It's like you wasn't getting a break.
Yeah. But you don't think Brian Flores is going to be ready for him? That defense, the Vikings defense has been more impressive.
And I didn't think it was going to be a slacker or it would be a game like Dallas. That's not what I mean. I'm just saying at this point. You think they're going
to be able to pound it on? You think they're going to be able to run it down their throat?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. I agree with you.
Montgomery is special. Montgomery is special without that line. And I've watched a few games, and my answer is still yeah. That's because when you think about teams that dominated and shut down their run game, they got people like a Fred Warner. Like you just ain't. I'm respecting the coaching, but you just ain't coming through with no linebacker stopping it.
Yeah.
And so I'm riding with them till they show me different. If they show me they run game don't show up for this game, then I'll reassess. But that light ain't been off yet.
No, and I don't expect it to be off. You right about that. We got the Chiefs and 49ers.
Unfortunately, I really didn't even see this as a 3-piece or a pepper. And I
started to put it like early, like the little when they give that little bitty leg or that little bitty wing,
baby chick. And I give it the baby chick because we got a lot of injuries on both sides for both teams. And
one of those teams is still undefeated.
This is true, but a lot of times undefeated is presented opportunity or the schedule in front of you, and so that still don't mean that they don't leave this weekend undefeated. I'm just saying my enthusiasm for the game is not there. I understand they're gonna do what's on their schedule, and I'm not knocking that, and I'm not knocking their record. I'm just saying, even with that record, the team they had on the field week 1 is not who's on the field in week 7.
For sure.
And so that's all I got on that one. I mean,
they lost this week.
No, I just don't think. I think still Mahomes got enough in his tank to find a win versus Purdy in his tank. That's how I'm gonna go with it. But I want to give a little small shout out to AFC South Jags. They're getting a new stadium.
Ain't they getting like a facelift on top of the stadium or something like that? It's not like brand new, like they doing construction at the current place, like they remodeling their place.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a whole new spectacular stadium, and I think it's supposed to be open in 2028. I mean, all done in 2028 or whatever. And at that rate,
else for a couple of years, I think.
And that closes the gap on all this talk about, are they going to become a team overseas?
That's true.
I just think the only burden right now, the pepper is, you rename your stadium after your quarterback, then you need to do something to help your quarterback. Because remember the naming rights with the bank, they named it with Trevor's name in it. You didn't see that?
No, I missed
that? Yeah, I think they announced it like week 2 or 3. Get on your magic machine over there. And
we ain't talking about that.
I mean, I guess because it was the Jags. It's Trevor Bank Stadium or something, because it's something something bank. I mean, it's not a bank that's here, so that's why I don't really know the name of the bank. It's not a
Like the,
regional bank in this
you
in
talking
this
about the
market.
current name?
Yes,
It's
they did this.
Everbank.
They did it, huh?
It's Everbank. Everbank
And they
Stadium.
made it Trevor Bank. Yeah, they added his name on the front of it, and they were gonna be like, it's Trevor Bank Stadium. They
Oh
did
my
a play
God.
off of his name with the name of the bank. I knew it fit. Yeah,
A
that's
month ago.
yeah. They announced that I want to say like after game, right before game 2 of the week 2. But of course, it didn't take off in the news because they haven't been able to. What up, P Pat? Where you at? They couldn't even. B Pat, you somewhere I can bring you in because D Jones can't stop laughing at this. We I can use you because I don't know how he missed this, but I know why I didn't talk about it. But
I don't know how I missed this. That is funny.
I think I really thought about it today because I was like, man, they improving the stadium, got a new name, that added this man names. I mean, I mean, I just feel like that's an extra burden for
I
him.
mean, they really put a TR in front of it. Oh my God.
I really meant his name is in the name. You thought I was joking.
I missed it. I missed
Yeah,
it. I missed it. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh man.
yeah.
That's funny.
And so Gonzalez, he's not headed to London. They still
They
there
still in London. They
because
had 2 weeks back
they
to
did
back.
2 games back to back. So that way they didn't have to do that back and forth. So so yeah.
You don't see that light? You know,
Look,
they ain't see that light, huh? That
look,
light red.
all, all I
Wasn't nobody,
know, all
wasn't
I
nobody
know
in the
is
meeting. Wasn't
I,
nobody in the meeting calmly saying, "Hey, the light red." The light red. Hey, somebody should have been in the meeting and said,
the proper way to say it is, that light red. One day
"We'll tell us."
we'll tell the story. We'll be for under the confidentiality on that one. But today,
Moral of the story:
um,
if you with somebody and they're about to run a red light, don't start on them, but
oh
let
never.
them know.
You
And
got
if they
but let
about to
them know
name
at
their
some point.
stadium,
So
if they about to name their stadium, Trevor.
before you start putting the letters up on the building, and the thing is, it's not even on him. Like I said, you got to figure out what you're doing with your team. And so I'm gonna give him credit. I'm gonna give him credit on this, right? I excluding this last press conference. The last press conference was kind of iffy when they asked him about the team in Jacksonville. And the coach's answer was like, we need to get, I think he said on the new page or do something new. And I was like, oh no, we need to get on the same page or a new page. You look that up too. You'll see. It was weird. But at the same time, he didn't completely throw anybody under the bus. And that again is still a protective of your team, but I
Yeah,
don't think he know what he want to do. I don't think he even know what to do at this point.
you to my coach.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, he on that hot seat. He on that fire.
So I mean, what
Trevor
do
didn't play
you
that bad this past weekend. His receivers dropped. I counted at least 3 touchdowns. I mean, like in their hands. I mean, it wasn't like it was like in their hands, and they standing in the end zone. And I'm
what
like,
do
oh, that's
you
touchdown too. But
okay? Wait. Did we ever show
okay,
that on here? Did Coach Pat show that charger? Is that how
we talked
Gonzalez
about
know
it.
what it looked like? We talked about it. But Gonzalez, I don't even think they make that charger anymore. That charger is the size of an
It's not a
iPad.
charger. It was a battery. It's a backup battery.
Well,
If
it's
you
still
see,
a charger.
if you've seen a UPS backup battery in a server room, that's what that was. That's exactly what that was.
Oh,
But
they probably got a lot of those at Trevor Bank Stadium. Um, Oh, see, I done went out of focus talking about people. That's what
See,
happened.
that's the
Oh,
cue. That's the cue.
that's the cue that it's time to go, y'all. I done lost
That's
focus.
the cue.
I done lost focus and became blurry. And
There you go. You back.
there
You
we
back.
go. As soon as I stopped talking about people, everything worked itself out.
I'm done. I'm done. We back next week.
I came with none of y'all because the theory is what happens in Vegas is supposed to stay in Vegas. And obviously tonight, that is not what's on the radar. So, so we're gonna wish our team good luck. We wish your teams good luck. Get your picks in. Shout out one more time to CB's team. They still riding in first place. And
Yeah.
again, I'm loving the chemistry. Coach B Pat, shout out to you. He's doing much better on his pick'em than he's ever done in all the years he's played with us. Um, so maybe somebody's helping him. I don't think he been doing it on his own. He
Somebody else.
claimed
He
he
claimed
trying to pay attention.
but he didn't put his Thursday pick in last week. Coach, put your pick in today. Do your Thursday pick today.
Yeah, do your Thursday pick right now,
Right
Mr.
now.
Walker. Mr. Walker, stop at the red light and put your pick in.
Oh, he ain't put his pick in either?
No,
Yeah.
we go last.
Do your whole week right now. You can still change it. Just do your whole week right now.
Yeah, just do it right now. And on that note, look, we'll catch y'all next time. Look out for D Jones on TikTok and him and his oldest daughter doing the picks every week with the little mini helmets. And join Fan Snob Chronicles on YouTube. And we'll catch y'all in week 8 when I get to come for my boy D Jones for not picking his team. And we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.